Whenever you're ready.
We are ready.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to all on the line today. Per Commissioner Kiefer's suggestion, we're going to start our meeting today before we call to order with a moment of silence. So with those who are online today, please pause for a moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you. And now the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Now I'd like to call today's meeting to order. Begin with the approval of minutes, January 12th, 2021. Comments, questions, motion to approve by name.
It's Court Minor Schmidt, a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
Randy Wagner, second.
Okay, I have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor by name, say aye. Aye. Jeff?
Aye, Wayne.
Aye, Court Minor Schmidt.
Aye, Randy.
Is that five, Krista? Do I hear Terry?
I have not heard Terry.
Okay, Terry, can you?
Yes, I approve.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll proceed to Commissioner's comments. Commissioner Wagner has asked me today to call him first. So Commissioner Wagner, would you go, please?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I've been getting a deluge of emails and phone calls. I'm going to have to bring up the vaccine situation again. First of all, I'll read you some stats. And you know, in the age of the 20 age group, there's been one death. 30 age group, there's been one death. 40 age, this is Washington County. 40 age group, there's been 2 deaths. The 50 age group, there's been 12 deaths. 60 to 69, there's been 19 deaths. 70, there's been 67 deaths. In 80, there's been 100 deaths. The reason I bring that up is the phone calls and the emails and my observation. Could you imagine if you were a World War II veteran, Vietnam veteran, somebody over the age of 70 with a good quality of life, which really makes not much of a difference. You've got to go, everybody should have a good quality of life, even if they're ill. And some health providers, the system is just not getting those people. They're seeing on social media the younger population posting about how they're getting this vaccine, and hence lays the problem for me and for the community. It should. I mean, priority should be definitely given due to the state of Maryland's directive, because there is a limited amount of vaccines, which we all know. Everybody can't get it in the next 2 weeks. The 65 and older should be the ones getting this, and the intellectually and development disability group, congregate living groups must be given, in my opinion, must be given priority over the younger population. And I think the stats support that with morbidity rate. I know that the health department's not getting the lion's shares of the doses. I think they do agree that we should concentrate on the elderly population. I know they agree with that, and we just don't seem to be doing that in the next few weeks. So with that being said, I mean, it's no different of pulling up to a starving population, and the ones that are okay, giving them the food, and the ones that aren't, not giving them the food. That's about the best analogy I can come up with. So I think it's imperative that we protect this vulnerable population. I mean, I'm all for giving every arm we can find a vaccine. Don't get me wrong, but I think we have to prioritize it. I think we're just missing the boat on that, and I think that could bear out with a few questions to where the vaccines are going at this point. But that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Commissioner Wagner, does that conclude your report?
Yes.
Okay. Vice President Baker, do you have any comments, sir?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Randy for that excellent report, and I wholeheartedly agree with him. And I think we should find out who do we have to contact to make sure that the most vulnerable get the vaccination first. So somebody is missing the boat there, and we do got to take care of the elderly first. That's just my opinion. So, but thank you for making that report, Randy. And that's all.
Thank you, Terry. I appreciate you joining in with those comments. Commissioner Kiefer, would you have some comments, sir?
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Randy, for those comments. I've received phone calls and emails as well on the very subject. The public is a little confused, and some of the calls that I've been getting, for example, is wondering why someone in the 75 plus age group and a vaccine wasn't available for them, but there was vaccines distributed to younger individuals. And, you know, I alluded to in our meeting about 2 weeks ago that those aren't decisions that should be made for the politicians. The decision doesn't fall on the commissioners to decide who gets the vaccine first, but there are state guidelines that should be followed. So I appreciate those comments. Thank you, Randy. I've had those same questions for many constituents. I'm sure we all have. Just to clarify, thank you, Commissioner Klein, for having the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of our agenda. I asked for the Pledge of Allegiance, not the moment of silence. The moment of silence we have been doing. So it was the Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, I want to thank you for bringing that to attention. I appreciate that input, sir.
That's important. I even had my flag up and ready.
I believe we have a screen online, correct?
Oh, good. I'm not online looking at it. I'm just on my telephone, but I had my flag as well. So thank you for that. Good job. Kind of along the similar vein of what Commissioner Wagner said, I do want to thank the Commission on Aging for using their mobile services unit. They received that in a grant last year, and they are working in partnership with Meritus, providing some back-end support that's desperately needed through staff, their own staff members or volunteers, to help with vaccines for seniors age 75 and older. And I know just through the efforts of the Commission on Aging, it may not sound like a lot, but every little bit helps. They have helped so far with 120 vaccinations so far, helping to coordinate those, and 50 more slated for tomorrow. So just a thank you to the Commission on Aging and other community partners I may not be aware of for helping to get this rollout. We know it's been cumbersome. I think Maryland was last in the state for vaccine rollout effectiveness not too long ago. But it's good to see some of our community partners stepping up and helping any way they can. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kiefer. Commissioner Schmidt, comments, please.
Yes, just want to update some people, everybody on some bills and get some input. The first one is Senate Bill 389, and it's been cross-filed with House Bill 552. I sent an email last week to the commissioners. This one is the Medicaid reimbursement bill that was part of our priorities down in Annapolis this year. It has a bipartisan sponsor list, which is exciting in the Senate of Galleon, Guzione, and our own Senator Quarterman. So I would like a letter of support to go down there for both the Senate Bill 389 and House Bill 552. So if I could get a consensus on that, that'd be great. We want to support this. As everybody knows, this again was one of our priorities.
Court, how about if we get a consensus to get a draft letter written up and we'll all approve it and move it forward? How's that sound?
That's perfect. Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Martirano, would you take care of that for us, sir? Thank you.
If there's
What else?
Yeah, I was going to say, is there a consensus of the board? I believe there is, but
Yeah, I'm sorry. I went too fast. Yeah, consensus. Okay.
This is Terry. I'm okay.
okay. So
If that's a 5-0 consensus, my office will put together the letter.
So
Court, anything else?
yeah, there's another bill, House Bill 495. I would like everybody to look into this as soon as possible and see. This is a complicated bill, and please talk to staff about it. This is a bill that will help the county out. According to the Maryland's budget office, it will help counties out by about $75 million. Basically, it decouples the income tax on small businesses. And that to me is where the problem lies, is it helps the counties out by hurting the small businesses. I don't believe at this time we should be making small businesses pay a higher income tax after the year that we have. And that's what this bill does. It does benefit the counties, but on the back of small businesses. So if everybody could take a look into this bill, you know, I don't want to get the letter out today, but it would definitely something I think we need to research and get a letter opposing this bill. But please do your research on that.
All right.
So,
Court, anything else?
last thing, I was going to make a comment about the Herald Mail article and the inquiry of the grant. As everybody knows, that I applied for that grant. We ran out of money the first time in the November, early November, after I applied for that grant. The second funding was done. The second funding, and yes, I did make the vote on that. For that, and I have nothing to hide. So I also asked the Ethics Commission to review that, and I look forward to that. The one thing that I would like to comment, which was not in the article, is that our pushed open date was December 5th. And because of COVID, we have had so many things getting delayed, and it's not that I'm having reduced revenue. I have no revenue. We cannot sell anything. We're hoping to be open towards the end of February. So we've had since early November, when these grants were applied, not knowing when we're going to open. I still have continued expenses, and we cannot open because, well, we don't have the supplies coming in. We've had windows delayed. We've had tile delayed. The still was delayed a month. The bottle filler was delayed 9 weeks. I've had steel delayed. So it's not that I'm not in business. I'm trying to get in business, but we cannot sell anything until we get an occupancy permit. So just wanted to make that clarification. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Court. Before my comments, I'd like to commend all my commissioners for supporting the vaccinations and making sure we have a sense of urgency for our seniors. Some of the things I would want to comment on it, again, over 90% of our deaths are within the population of age over 65 plus. Some of these patients that are passing are probably also in the hospital for extended times, which is stressing out Meredith and their staff from their employees and availability of rooms. With a limited supply of vaccines available to Maryland and Washington County, it does create a major problem of how that distribution may be seen fair or appropriate. On Channel 13 Baltimore News this morning, I believe it was mentioned Howard and Montgomery County were suspending their vaccination program because of the lack of supply and the difficulties in the distribution and implementation of the vaccine. But I do believe we should also be focusing the vaccines for our most vulnerable citizens while we address some of the other concerns in the community. But supplies are limited. With people 65 and older, majority of the people who are dying and that are sick, we should have a focus on that. We all want our schools to open. We all want to protect our emergency responders and a long list of people who are also important. But again, with our supplies limited, we should make sure that we're serving that most vulnerable part of our community, from seniors and maybe some other entities. There should be a strong focus on that. And again, I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not placing blame. This is an awful predicament for our country, our state, and our county to be in. So working together, possibly we can maybe rectify this and get more information on how we can better serve our seniors who are the most vulnerable. And one last comment. Governor Hogan's on at 2 p.m. with an update on the vaccination. So I ask everyone who's listening, please tune in to Governor Hogan at 2 p.m. And that concludes my comments, unless there's someone else.
Jeff, I forgot one thing that I'd like to
please
say.
go ahead, Court.
There's 3 other restaurants that applied for the grant that we ran out of money for. And the second thing, if possible, I'd like to see if we could use some of the hotel motel money. They applied for grants. They applied for the grant. They were on time. They did everything right. As long as they're qualified, I think we should find a way to get them that money too.
All right, thank you. Any other comments from anybody before I go to staff comments? All right, staff comments. Krista, any staff on the line for comments?
Yes, we can go with Mr. Curry.
Rick Curry, would you please introduce yourself in the topic, sir? Do we have Mr. Curry unmuted? All right, Krista, while we're waiting on Rick, is there another staff member who can continue?
I'm here now, Jeff. If you want.
Thank you, Mr. Curry. Please introduce yourself in the topic, sir.
Rick Curry, Director of Purchasing, Washington County Public Schools Natural Gas Bid Process. Every 3 years, Washington County Public Schools solicit pricing for natural gas along with Washington County's requirements. It's a co-op that consists of the Board of Education, Washington County government, and also the fire companies. What we're asking for is that on the day that the bids are opened, is that either Andrew Eshelman, who is the primary representative, or the secondary representative, which is myself, has the board's approval to sign the contract that day. The reason for that is that if the contract is not signed on the day of the opening, the prices continue to move until the contract is signed. On the last round we did this 3 years ago, we did not sign the contract on the day of the opening, and prices moved, and we paid a little bit higher price, a rather significant higher price than the Board of Ed and the other participants. With that being said, I'm asking for the board's consensus to either let the primary representative or the secondary, or if the board wishes, to have President Klein present on the day of the opening so that the contract can be signed to lock in the pricing.
Commissioners, your thoughts, comments? I'd be willing to be there if possible.
I agree with Mr. Curry. It's with the prices, how volatile they are, and they've already seen an increase in the last 2 weeks. So if we can get the lower price to benefit the county, we should do it.
I'm good. with
Commissioners,
that.
any other comment?
This is Randy. I'm good with that.
For clarity, I think you ought to make a motion to that effect, just so it's memorialized in the minutes.
Thank you.
Now, are we talking about either letting the primary representative, secondary, or President Klein being present?
I'll make the motion with the primary, secondary, or President Klein.
Okay.
Okay, is there a second for that?
Randy, I'll second it.
Okay, I have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye by name. Aye, Jeff.
Aye, Wayne.
Aye, Court Minor Schmidt.
Hi, Randy.
And Commissioner Baker, do you still have us? Okay, Krista, did you hear 4 or 5 votes there?
I heard 4. Vice President Baker's with us, but I believe he's muted.
Okay, would you try to unmute him, see, get his vote on this?
I can unmute him.
Okay, with Commissioner Baker not available, 4-0, it passes. Thank you, Mr. Curry. Is there anything else?
That would be it for that, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Krista, is there any other staff members?
We have Jonathan Horowitz on the line.
Krista, this is
Mhm.
Terry. I was, it wouldn't let me unmute. I spent, hit star 6 probably 30 times. I finally got
Okay.
unmuted.
Okay, Commissioner
So
Baker,
I'm a yes on that last.
okay, thank you for coming in on. I appreciate it. All right, that's a 5-0 vote. Mr. Horowitz, please identify yourself and the subject, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jonathan Horowitz, Business Leader, Department of Business Development. I'm here to provide the board with an update on the business stabilization efforts via the 2 open grant programs provided by the state. for restaurants and for lodging. So currently well, just to update the board, we did receive the funding yesterday from the state that has been deposited into our accounts. So the Department of Business Development immediately moved to request checks and grants for the 41 approved restaurants in phase 2 of this program. This program totals $811,338, and it will be going to 41 Washington County restaurants who each received a full grant of $20,000, except for the 41st recipient who receives the remaining funds of $11,338, first come, first served basis. These checks were requested yesterday to the Budget and Finance Office. Sarah, this morning, the checks will be ready to Thursday. And we are opening, we have opted not to use the postal mail due to some recent unreliability and delays that we've experienced. So we're opening the checks for a 1-week window of pickup. So that will begin this Friday, the 4th, at the county offices, and will be open for pickup until next Thursday, at which point on the 5th of February, next Friday, staff will hand deliver the checks to the restaurants. So by next Friday, all recipients will have their checks and their grant money. Very good news.
Jonathan, I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, did you say you need our approval to release the money, or was that included in the previous conversation last time we voted on this?
You guys already voted to allow us to release that. Thank you.
Okay, my next question, will those recipients be notified today?
Yes, they will, sir. They are, the award letters are going to go out via regular postal mail and email today.
Okay, one of my suggestions, if the commissioners would so enjoy or like the endeavor, there might be some of the commissioners who would like to go personally present these checks to thank these people for struggling through a pandemic and to recognize their commitment to keep people employed. So I would suggest that any commissioners want to do that, maybe get in touch with your office and see how we could do a joint effort on that. Okay, commissioners, you okay with that?
Yeah, it's Randy. I'm fine.
Okay.
I think that the businesses would appreciate that personal touch from the commissioners. So if anybody would like to do that, please just email me and I will take care of arranging that for you. No problem.
Thank you. Jonathan, anything else? Commissioners, any other questions?
Yeah, I did have a question for him, Jeff, and I'm okay with
Thank you, Terry.
Jonathan, I know I had several businesses contact me, and they had tried to fill out the application, and there was a statement on there that applications were not being accepted at this time. So how were they? I mean, were you able to get back in touch with the people that applied and couldn't get through?
Well, this time, normally we were able to collect those applications that were late. This time, we were very careful with the opening through PR for the window for applications. We basically monitored that, by the minute, and we were actually able to close the application process in time where all the received applications that were received completed were able to be funded. So if there were entities that were in the process of filling it out but had not submitted it, we weren't aware of that. But at this point, we have not received any late applications.
These entities went online within the time frame to apply, and they were told that applications were not being accepted at this time.
The process for that, Terry, was we had PR send out a release, and the program was opened for applications, and we monitored it until the money ran out, and we released a press release immediately to indicate to the public. So we actually did not receive any completed applications after the time period. So if those people were in there attempting to fill it out, I understand that, but they never sent it in to us because we have not received any late ones this time.
Okay.
If there are entities,
my comment has nothing to do with late. Okay,
so
thank you.
I get what you're saying, Terry. Sorry, I'm trying to address it, but basically,
Oh, no, I understand.
when we received them late, we knew that they had applied, but nobody sent any in late this time, so we're unaware of those, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, they couldn't because they said you all said that there was no applications being accepted at this time, but that's all right. I understand. Bye.
Yeah, that is true, though. They are correct, and it was, unfortunately, Terry, it was a very short window this time due to the limited amount of funding that the state provided us.
Right. Any other questions for Jonathan?
Commissioner Klein, I would just say that just to follow up on what Jonathan was saying and Commissioner Baker's comment, yes, we were very careful and very intentional about that. That when as soon as we reached that limit, we stopped the process because we didn't want people to go through the time and effort of filling out the applications and then there not being any money there. So that may have been what happened there. But as Jonathan said, we did not receive any additional ones, so we're not aware of that. So that was the plan from the beginning. And I know, just to comment on Court's earlier statement, if the commissioners want the staff to look to see if there's an additional funding source for I think the two or three that were submitted, we can do that if the commissioners want us to take a look at that.
John, this is Wayne. I've also received some comments from businesses who didn't make that cut when the funds were exhausted, and they tried to go online. It was just within a matter of days from when the last restaurant grant application became open, because I think we went back to those applicants from the first go round and gave them priority. So we really have no way of knowing how many restaurants out there wanted to apply, were within the deadline, but came in after funds were exhausted. I just wonder, just a comment, just something for thought. I know our original business grants this summer that were not restaurant specific, just were for businesses in general of any type. We seem to have some excess funding. There was more money than there was demand. And then with these restaurants grant funding, it seems like there's more demand than there is money. Just wondering if maybe the governor would happen to release some more funding for restaurants, maybe so we can serve more restaurants. Is that $20,000 number too high? I know, you ask a restaurant who's been suffering, no, 20,000 is not too high, but could we better accommodate more restaurants if we were offering a lesser amount? Just food for thought in case this process, we get to round 3 of restaurant relief grant.
Right. No, I appreciate that. And I think that our Department of Business Development, every time we do a round of these, we learn from that, and we'll continue to learn from that. So any of those thoughts we can are welcome. I will say that one other thing I thought of that actually someone mentioned to me that, maybe Terry, maybe what they're talking about is maybe they tried to apply before the applications were online. And so I don't know if those individuals who contacted you and said they couldn't apply, whether they were able to once the applications became live, because I think we announced the program and then it was a few days later before the applications became live. So they may have tried to apply and couldn't get on then and then came on later and did, but there's no way for us to know that unless you know who that is. But we'll continue to learn from this. And I would hope that the governor might look to supply some more money, especially as you said, that there's a lot of restaurants that are still looking for help. And so I haven't heard anything, but maybe we'll make an inquiry to see if the governor's looking to do anything along those lines.
Okay. Thank you, John. Mr. Horowitz, any more comments, commissioners? Anything else? Hearing none. Krista, next staff person? Anyone else?
That's all I have listed.
Okay, Krista, would you have anything?
No, sir.
Okay, Mr. Downey, do you have anything from legal?
Nothing today.
Okay. County Administrator John Martirano, any comments from you?
Thank you, President Klein, and good morning, commissioners. I just have 2 things today. First, I wanted to thank all the county employees for their continuing hard work and dedication in providing outstanding services to the citizens of Washington County. It continues to be a difficult time for everyone, and our employees continue to step up. So I just wanted to thank them. And I want a special thank you goes out to all of our county employees who were out last night in the weather event. We didn't have a lot of snow, but we did have some ice and some slippery conditions. And I know that our employees were out there working yesterday evening and overnight. So I just wanted to thank them. The second thing, I'm excited to announce that the State of the County video will be released next Tuesday, February 2nd. More information will be forthcoming from our PR department about that. So if you stay tuned for the specifics of how and when that video will be released and how everyone can view it. So our PR department will be releasing things later this week to let you know. Everyone's looking forward to the State of the County release. And that's all I have today, President Klein.
All right. Thank you, sir. No more staff comments. We'll proceed to our first agenda item, request for increase in rate of pay for circuit court bailiffs. I turn it over to Honorable Judge Dwyer. Sir, you're on, sir.
Thank you, President Klein. Thank you, the rest of the county commissioners. It's been humbling to hear all the discussion about the COVID pandemic. We lost a very good employee in our clerk of court's office just yesterday, who was only 55 years old to COVID-19. So we're all still reeling from that. As you know, the courts have been mostly shut down by order of Chief Judge Barbera of the Court of Appeals. It's called phase 2 we're in. We're doing emergency hearings live. There's always at least 1 or 2 judges in the courthouse to cover emergencies and cover live hearings. But almost everything else we're doing, this is my courtroom. I'm at home with my laptop, and we conduct Zoom hearings. We can do divorces and custody cases and things like that from here. Can't do jury trials, obviously, and that's going to be probably to the end of April. We're in this phase at least until the middle of March, and then we'll start doing more live hearings again. And the live hearings have been really facilitated when we were doing them earlier in the summer by our 7 bailiffs. There's six of us judges and 1 family law magistrate. So 7 bailiffs. Most of these ladies and gentlemen are retired from other careers. Some are police officers. Some of other have jobs they've retired from. It's part-time. There's no benefits. It's historically paid, I think, $70 a day for when the judge is in court or the magistrate is in court or when the grand jury is in session for a bailiff to be there. And they've historically done, kind of comfort things like getting water for witnesses or for the judge or for the attorneys or doing the all rise when the judge takes the bench. But during the pandemic, they've been really working harder to sanitize. Every time a witness leaves the witness stand, my bailiff, Rick Reynolds, with a mask on and gloves, wipes down the witness stand and wipes down the plexiglass screens and wipes down everything. The trial tables, when a defendant or a lawyer leaves the trial table, the bailiffs wipe all that down. So instead of just sitting there quietly to the side of the courtroom, they've been in the front line really to keep us all safe from COVID. And we figure Miss Krista Grossnickel, I think, on the call too here. They make $70 a day, which is like $9.19 an hour. And with minimum wage going up to $15 an hour, we thought it was unfair for them. Again, they don't get benefits. They don't work when the judge isn't working, when I'm off, when I'm in a training session in Annapolis or something. It doesn't work and doesn't get paid. But assuming all 7 of them worked every day for 52 days a week, the cost to the county is like $133,000, $133,770. If we are successful in getting them this raise to minimum wage of $15 an hour, the impact on the county would be go from $133,770 to $182,000 a year. And again, that's assuming all 7 of them are working every day, which isn't going to happen because judges get 3 or 4 weeks vacation, and also they have at least 2 weeks of training and coursework and you have to do in Annapolis. They currently also get a meal allowance, which has always kind of been an anachronism of $3.50 or something, I think, a day. That's really this kind of 2 sheets they have to fill out. We're advocating just to get rid of that. They can bring their lunch or buy lunch downtown like the rest of us do. But I think it would be fair to all of these gentlemen and to the 1 lady we have who are bailiffs to increase it to the minimum wage of $15 an hour for the time they are there. I realize times are tough for the county here and all the, the heartache of the restaurants and the other businesses. I would not ask for anything for myself or for other paid staff, but I do think it would be fair to consider increasing for our bailiffs when they're there. When we start up again in March, they're going to be there more full time. Ms. Gross-Nichols, is there anything else you want to add to that?
I just wanted to say the request is actually to make it for a flat rate of pay of $100 per day that they report. So.
Right. Instead of the 70, it goes up to 100. All right. Thank you, Ms. Gross-Nichols. And thank you, Mr. President Klein and the other commissioners for hearing us out.
Thank you, Judge, Your Honor, sir. Commissioners, any comments, discussion, or is there a motion?
This is Randy. The times I've been in the courthouse, thankfully not before Judge Dwyer, but it's jury duty or whatever. I think they're very professional. I don't have a problem with this. They run a tight ship in there, and I think that's good for safety, observation, and a million different reasons. So I'd be okay with it.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, would there be a motion to approve the flat rate of $100 per day as suggested?
I'd motion to approve to a flat rate of $100 per day. This is Randy.
Okay, is there a second?
This is Commissioner Kiefer. I second.
All right, I have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Commissioner Klein, I just wanted to clarify. Is this beginning in the next budget year, or is this beginning now? Maybe you said that, but I just wanted to clarify.
Request is to begin now.
Oh, it's beginning now. So
Okay, that's what I thought it was, but I just want to make sure everybody knew that.
Commissioner, you okay with that?
So should it be clarified that it should start the next pay cycle? So it's not in between pay cycles?
Yes, please.
Commissioners, also to clarify that you are eliminating the meal allowance.
I'll amend that motion to approve the $100 a day starting at the next pay cycle and eliminating the meal allowance. This is Randy.
All right. Mr. Kiefer, are you okay with that since you seconded it?
Yes, sir. I'll continue to second that motion, the revised.
Commissioners, I have a first and a second with the amendments added. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for a vote by name. Aye, Jeff.
Aye, Coeur Schmidt.
That's 2.
Wayne.
3.
Hi, Randy.
Krista, do you have Terry unmuted?
I believe we lost Vice President Baker.
Okay, commissioners, if you're okay, we can proceed without Terry's support or not. Is that okay? If I have a 4-0 approval?
This is Randy. That's fine with me.
Okay. All right, it passes 4-0. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Kristen.
very much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. The bailiffs will be happy.
You're welcome. All right, next item up for discussion, contract renewal, landfill inspection services. I believe we have Rick Curry and Dave Mason. Please introduce yourself in the matter.
Good morning. Rick Curry, Director of Purchasing. The matter before you is the contract renewal PUR 1403, landfill inspection service requirements contract. The recommended motion is to renew the contract with BAI Group LLC for 1 year, commencing March 13th of 2021, under the same terms and conditions, with a rate increase of 2.6 for construction inspection engineering services, based upon their letter dated January 7th, 2021. Also in the ARP, you can see the awarded contract pricing for year 1, the renewal price for year 2, and the proposed price rates for year 3. The contract consists of leachate collection systems, inspection services, leachate storage tanks, earthwork. It's a requirements contract that has no guarantee of minimum maximum number of hours. It's only used as needed basis. It was originally awarded in March of 2019 with an option of 1-year renewal, 4 1-year option renewals. Funds are budgeted individual accounts for the services. We have concurrence of the Division Director of Environmental Management, and also we have the attached letter from BAI Group LLC requesting a price increase of 2.6 overall for their services under PUR 1403. And that concludes my recommendation for an increase for PUR 1403.
Rick, this is Randy Wagner. I have a quick question. Why do we sub this out? We don't have our qualified inspectors, or we don't have the manpower?
I think it comes down to manpower, if I'm correct on that, Commissioner Wagner.
Any other questions? Mr. Mason, if you're on the line, any comments?
Yes, we don't have the manpower for this, so we just sub it out to qualified contractors.
Thank you. Commissioners, is there a motion to approve?
If I could follow up on that question, would it be cheaper to have the manpower for this, or is the contracted rate more beneficial to the county?
Well, right now within solid waste, we just don't have enough construction projects like this to keep a full-time employee. So it really benefits us just to have a contract on-call services, so that when we do get a project, we can just call them up and have someone there.
That's what I need to know. Thank you. And then,
Dave, I have another question. I'm sorry, Randy. Do we, up and beyond this contract per hour for these inspectors, do we give them room and board and those kind of things when they're here for extended period of time?
No, all that should be worked in their price proposals. So we don't pay any extra for room and board or meals or anything.
All right, thank you.
This is Rick. If I may add one other thing in regards to these type of contracts. These contracts also serve as a budgetary model, because for projects coming up, we can look at the contracted rates and see just about where we need to budget for these type of projects coming up.
perfect. Then I make the motion to renew the contract with BAI Group.
Okay, I have a motion. Is there a second? Is there a second to approve?
This is Wayne. I'll second.
Thank you, Wayne. I have a first and a second. Is there any other discussion by the commissioners? Motion to approve by name?
Aye, Corbin Meinl Schmidt.
Aye,
Aye,
Jeff.
Wayne.
Aye, Wayne. Good.
Hi, Randy.
Randy? Terry, you still on the line with us?
President Klein, he's here. I believe he needs to unmute.
Okay. Mr. Baker, can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Hey, did you hear, we just voted, we have a motion, a second, and 4 votes to approve the landfill inspection services. Were you able to follow that conversation, sir?
The last half of it, yes. I don't know why, but it keeps booting me off. And I'm also a yes on Judge Dwyer's recommendation for the minimum wage to the bill.
Thank you. And you're okay with the landfill inspections as well?
Yes.
Okay, folks, that'll be 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, thank you, Terry. Next on the agenda, the fiscal year 2022 Rural Legacy Program grant. I believe that's Chris Boggs. And Allison, would you please introduce yourself in the matter?
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Boggs here, Land Preservation Planner, Planning and Zoning.
And also joining us, Allison Hartsoren, Grant Manager, Office Grant Management.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I guess I'll get, what was that?
Please proceed. Excuse me.
So this item is for our application for the FY22 Rural Legacy Grant. They're due in February, and this year we are looking to request $4,821,500 for the grant. to use for rural legacy easements in Washington County. As you know, rural legacy is one of our stalwart programs in Washington County, one of our conservation easement programs that concentrates on, not just agriculture, but also historic and cultural and environmental conservation values for these easements. Each year, we have to apply for grant funding. And at this point, we're having a pretty good run, and we just eclipsed the 7,200 acre mark with more to come this spring. We compile the application each year, and we work with the grants department. And so this is the application we have. Of course, our recommended motion would be to approve the submission of the grant application, and for the amount of $4,821,500. Allison, do you have anything to add?
Not at this time.
Okay, so the only other thing is the fiscal impact. We estimate it's about $300 per year for inspections related to these easements. You got to go out and make sure the farm's still a farm, basically, every 3 years. So, but that's the real fiscal impact. Everything else, of course, is paid for by the state. And I guess one last thing, that the 3% of this grant will go straight to the county for administrative costs, and then a 1.5% of it will go to the county for compliance costs. That's in a dedicated fund. Any questions?
Hey, commissioners, any questions?
Chris, this is Wayne. I have a question.
Yes.
$4,821,500. How do we determine how much to apply for? Are we told how much we can apply for, how much we might receive based on acreage or population? How is that amount determined?
Well, as you might be aware, we always apply for more than we think we're going to get, because if you apply for what you think you're going to get, you're probably not going to get that. So we're always shooting for the stars on these things. But generally what I do is I take my top 10 properties on my ranking list and add up on my estimated easement costs for those properties. And this is what I come to for those top 10.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Yep.
That's a great response. Thank you. Any other questions or a motion to approve?
This is Wayne again. I'll move to approve the grant application.
Thank you. Is there a second to approve?
Terry seconds.
I have a first and a second. Commissioners, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye by name. Aye, Jeff.
Aye, Terry.
Thank you.
Aye, Court
Aye, Wayne.
Hi, Randy.
Okay, that sounds like 5. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next up, we have Hood Conservation Reserve Enhancement Legacy Program. Welcome back, Chris.
Yep. All right, so this is one of our Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program easements, or the CREP easement, as you might be more familiar with it. CREP easements generally, they have a CREP contract from the Farm Service Agency on the parcel, and we piggyback using funds from DNR at the state level to put a permanent easement on these properties. Of course, as long for landowners who have applied for the easement. This easement is the Darrell and Alexis Hood CREP easement. They're located on Little Antietam Road there in Hagerstown. This is going to protect 12.5 acres of woodland, 61 acres of hayland. Further, they have a 4.91 acre building envelope around the existing dwelling, so that it essentially allows them a little more leniency inside of the area. They may build buildings or put an addition on their house or something like that, because the CREP easements are slightly more restrictive than our other easements as far as building structures in the open space is concerned. Further, the easement will buffer 800 feet and around almost 11 acres around a tributary to the Antietam Creek that runs through the southwest corner of the property. To this point, CREP easements have been put on over 1,300 acres of land in Washington County, and the Hood easement will help protect both the Maryland waterways and preserve the agricultural, historic, cultural, and natural characteristics of the land. For this year, as in years past, the state, it takes the applications for CREP easements on a project-by-project basis. They have given an initial approval for this project, and so we've moved forward with it. Funding is 100% state dollars, with the 3% of the easement value for admin costs coming back to the county, as well as 1.5% for compliance costs coming back to Washington County. Other than that, our recommended motion is to approve the Hood CREP easement for $277,200 over 89.39 easement acres, and to adopt the ordinance associated with this approval. Any questions?
Commissioners, any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
Court Minor-Smith, I make the motion to approve the Daryl E. and Alexis Hood CREP easement.
Have a
Terry
first.
second. Terry second.
Thank you, Terry. As a second, first and second, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye by name.
Terry, aye.
Jeff, aye.
Wayne, aye.
Court Minor-Smith, aye.
Randy, aye.
All right, that's 5-0. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it.
Thank you, commissioners.
You're welcome. Next up, joint resolution and amendment to consolidate general services agreement. Mark Bradshaw, please introduce yourself and the topic.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here today requesting approval of the joint resolution amendment to the consolidated general service agreement for the provision of providing sanitary sewer to Harper Park. The consolidated general service agreement, which was adopted in 1997, established the means by which sanitary sewer service can be provided to properties in Washington County, which would require treatment by the city of Hagerstown using sewer lines owned and operated by the county. The CGSA designated the properties that are included in the cooperative agreement, and it has been amended from time to time in order to add additional properties. Harper Park, located on Paradise Church Road, is not currently included in the CGSA, thus requiring a joint resolution to be approved by both the county commissioners and the city of Hagerstown before the sewer service can be provided. Any questions?
Commissioners, comments, thoughts? Mark, any more questions for us or commissioners? Comments?
This is Terry. What happens if we don't approve this?
Then they cannot have public sanitary sewer. They would have to look at on-lot options, septic systems.
Yeah. And then how, is that property already annexed into the city?
I do not know the answer to that question. I know they have worked with the city and they have gotten city water as part of this development, which I know they generally have a contingency on there that you have to sign an annexation agreement in order to get water.
Mm-hmm. So, and there's still hookup fees, correct?
The hookup fees are established by the JSA agreement. I think, get $2,200 and the city gets $5,000 of each of the connection fees because they provide the treatment. And that's all spelled out in the current agreement.
Okay, that was just a thought of mine. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, who's requesting the authorization?
The developer, which is Mr. Crampton.
Thank you.
Okay.
Brad, this is Wayne. A quick question. It looks like from the map we're given, this only affects undeveloped property. Is that correct? Homes to be built. So this isn't affecting anyone who currently has a home, may have a well, or I'm sorry, may have a septic.
That is
it's not
correct.
Forcing anyone to change from their septic system to hook into the county or the city's sewer system.
That is correct. This is for a future development that Mr. Crampton is proposing on the vacant land that exists there today.
Okay, good, thank you.
Then, Commissioners, any other comments?
I do have another question. So the people out that, and I don't know if there are or not, but the people out that way, if they're on a well and septic, they won't be forced to hook up to the public utility, correct?
That is correct. This is just for Mr. Crampton's future development to move forward to provide
That's all you
sewer.
do.
Okay.
Then I just have one last question here. Since the sewer lines are owned and operated by the county, and then the sewer services being, the treatment is done by the city of Hagerstown, if something goes wrong with that sewer line, how is that agreement being done, with this consolidated general service agreement?
Any of the lines that are owned by the county is ultimately responsible for the maintenance of them. And there is a designated point along the sewer lines where that transitions over into the city's collection system versus the county, and that line has been designated at that point. So anything on the county side, we're responsible for it. And when these customers are billed, the city bills them, but we also add in a maintenance fee
Okay,
per quarter for the county to maintain the lines.
that's what I wanted to hear. Then with that, then I'll make the motion to approve the joint resolution amending the CGSA.
I have a first. Is there a second?
This is Randy. I'll second it.
Okay, I have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye by name.
Aye, Court Minus.
Terry,
Aye, Jeff.
Wayne, aye.
Okay, is that 5-0, Krista? Is that what I heard?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Bradshaw. Appreciate it. Now I need a motion to go in closed session.
Jeff, don't we still have the,
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Go ahead. I need next. Thank you for the reminder. I appreciate that. Budget adjustment for parking lot repair. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Andrew Eshelman, Director of Public Works.
Hey, good morning, Andrew.
I'm here before you seeking a motion to approve the budget amendment to use available program open space grant funds. The Washington County Board of Commissioners approved program open space POS funds in FY18 for county parks parking lot repairs and overlay. Available POS funds remain in that grant allocation, but there are local funds that are required to cover the grant match requirement. The county does have a capital improvement account, RECO 42, for parking lot repairs and overlay. The program open space funds require a minimum of 10% local match. And currently in that POS grant allocation, we have $37,051 of funds remaining. So I'm proposing a budget adjustment to fully utilize those available grant funds.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Commissioners, any comments, questions?
this is Court
Hearing
Minus.
no que-
I make the motion to approve the budget adjustment.
Okay, I do first. Is there a second?
Terry, second.
I have a first, second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, a motion to approve by name. Jeff, aye.
Court Minus, aye.
Wayne, aye.
Okay, that sounds like 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Eishelman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now I would request a motion to go into closed session.
Court Minus, I make the motion to go to closed session.
Is there a second?
Randy, second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye, Jeff.
Aye, Terry.
Aye, Court Minus.
Wayne, aye.
Okay, all in favor. Hey, guys, thank you, everyone who's listening. See you in closed session.